It was always the little things that lingered long after the damage was done. 3 weeks had passed since James packed his things and walked out, no apologies, no explanations worth listening to. Just a string of tired justifications and a painfully honest admission. It just happened. That's how they always explain it, as if betrayal is a pothole they stumbled into rather than a door they opened, fully conscious. I'd stopped waiting for an apology. What I hadn't expected, though, was for him to still be logged into my Netflix account. If you've ever turned heartbreak into your own kind of closure, like subscribe and stay for more stories where silence hits hardest and petty becomes poetic. It was late. I'd poured a glass of wine and was scrolling through mindless options when I noticed the profile row. Mine was still labeled M. Calm blue avatar. Clean history. But there he was, bold as ever, James. Complete with a superhero icon and the arrogance of still streaming shows on my dime. At first, I felt a flicker of annoyance. Then it bloomed into something more distinct. Not anger, not even hurt, just the unmistakable urge to make this one small thing reflect the truth he refused to face. I didn't text him. I didn't even take a screenshot to send to a friend. I just stared at that name on the screen, the same name that once meant intimacy and now only represented entitlement. This man had taken my trust, wasted my time, and now, apparently, had the audacity to keep watching from the comfort of a connection he no longer deserved. So I clicked on it. And in that moment, with my thumb hovering over the settings icon, I realized I didn't need to yell, or call, or make a scene. All I needed was a little creativity and the will to turn his digital squid into a message he couldn't ignore. He wanted to keep pretending nothing had changed? Fine. Let the next episode begin with a new title. There was no ceremony to it. No music swelling in the background. Just me, sitting in my robe with the TV remote in one hand and the other steady on my phone, scrolling through the Netflix settings he probably assumed I'd forgotten about. The arrogance of that assumption, the idea that I'd be too heartbroken to notice he was still riding my subscription, lit something in me. Not rage. Not vengeance. Something smaller, sharper. Precision. I tapped Edit Profile. First the name. James became cheater. Simple. Not vindictive, not loud, just honest. I made sure it was in all caps. No room for misinterpretation. Then I went deeper. I changed the maturity settings to toddler mode, restricted his access to animation, family-friendly fluff, and educational sing-alongs. If he wanted comfort, he'd have to get it from cartoons. But I wasn't done. The avatar had to go. No more bold hero stance. I replaced it with the saddest, most pitiful monkey I could find. Big eyes, droopy mouth, a digital embodiment of disappointment. Perfect. I sat back, stared at the screen, and let it sink in. There he was, cheater, now locked into a viewing profile filled with animated chickens and talking trucks, bearing the face of a forlorn primate. It didn't scream revenge. It didn't need to. It whispered clarity. Some might have called it petty. I called it balance. This man had shattered something and walked away like it was casual. Left pieces in my inbox, my apartment, my memory, and now, apparently, in my entertainment library. I couldn't take back the lies or the nights spent wondering what I'd missed. But I could take back my peace. And the account he no longer earned. I didn't log out of his devices just yet. That wasn't the point. Not yet. First, I wanted him to see it. To open Netflix on some lazy Sunday, expecting action films and ego, and instead be greeted by a weeping cartoon monkey and a cold reminder. You don't belong here anymore. Let the silence deliver the message. Let the toddler shows do the talking. It happened exactly how I'd imagined it. 2 days after I made the changes, I was folding laundry in the late afternoon when my phone buzzed. The name lit up on my screen, James. My stomach didn't turn. My hands didn't shake. I just let it ring and watched the vibration fade into silence. 30 minutes later, another ping. This time a message. What the hell is this? No context. No remorse. Just confusion, offended confusion even. He was more shocked by a name change on Netflix than he ever had been about the damage he left behind. That, I thought, was the perfect measure of who he really was. I didn't respond. An hour later, another message. Are you serious right now? Yes, I was. More than he could ever understand. There was something beautiful in watching him spiral, not from a loss of love, but from a loss of convenience. The man who once couldn't be bothered to answer a simple question about where he'd been was now rattled by an altered cartoon avatar and a few locked content settings. By evening, the third message arrived. Grow up. That one made me laugh. This, from a man who lied through his teeth and left our relationship through the back door of a dating app. And now, stripped of bingeable dramas and the illusion of control, he was giving me advice on maturity.
Predictable, really.
So I gave him one word. One final note. Seriously. That was it. No lecture. No insults. Just a mirror held up to the petty mess he'd made of things. Then I opened Netflix app, clicked sign out of all devices, and changed the password.
Permanently.
Blocked his number. Blocked his email. And with one click, closed the chapter not with a scream. Not with revenge porn or rage-filled threads, but with the same subtlety he once used to lie to me. He'd chosen betrayal. I chose punctuation. By the time the weekend ended, the silence had set in and stayed. No more messages. No more drama. Just quiet. That kind of heavy, intentional silence that settles when someone realizes they've been locked out of a world they never thought they'd lose. It wasn't about the Netflix anymore. It was about control. Entitlement. His assumption that I would keep the door half open, just in case he ever wanted to wander back through it. And now, that door was bolted.
No rai. No annunciament.
Just absence. A mutual friend reached out that Monday. Casual. Curious. Hey, did you really change his Netflix to toddler mode? I didn't deny it. She laughed. He's still mad. Said he had to start a whole new account. I just smiled. Let him pay. Let him rebuild. Let him stare at blank recommendations and an empty watch list and realize that betrayal doesn't just lose you people, it loses you access. To comfort. To convenience. To everything you thought you'd keep, even when you gave nothing in return. He never really understood what it meant to be connected. He thought love was a resource, reliable, replaceable, and always online. But when he logged in and saw Cheater blinking beneath a weeping cartoon monkey, I liked to think he felt it. That sudden sting of being named. Labeled. Called out, not in a fight, but in a way that couldn't be argued. There was no message he could send to fix it. No apology clever enough to reset the password. No sad emoji strong enough to undo the damage. And me? I was back to my own profile. Watching my shows. Laughing at my comedies. At peace. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't theatrical. It's simply reminding someone that they no longer have access. There's a strange kind of healing that comes not from confrontation or closure, but from control, the kind that doesn't shout, doesn't ask for permission, and doesn't wait for an apology that will never come. That's what locking him out of Netflix was for me. A moment of quiet reclamation. Not revenge, exactly. Just precision. People think healing is loud. That it comes in big declarations and long emotional speeches. But mine came in a few taps on a screen, a renamed profile, and a sad little monkey who now lived rent-free in his memory. I didn't undo what he did. I didn't fix it. I didn't even want to. What I wanted, what I chose, was to take back one small thing he had no right to. And in doing that, I reminded myself that I didn't need to carry his betrayal any further. It stopped at my screen and stayed out of my life. I've since changed all my passwords. New routines. New streaming accounts. The digital house has been swept clean. I don't stalk his profiles, I don't bring him up, and I certainly don't waste energy wondering if he regrets it. Because whether he does or not, one thing's for certain. Every time he opens a new account, rebuilds a watch list, or sees a cartoon monkey online, it'll remind him of the one woman who didn't beg, didn't scream, and didn't stick around to argue. She just locked the door and threw away the remote. If you've ever handled betrayal with subtlety and wit, like, subscribe, and stick around for more stories where revenge doesn't raise its voice, but it leaves a mark that never fades.